Hey guys, this is Sedall with Taos Fly Shop. Me and Nick had a day off today, and so we figured we'd come down and fish one of our favorite pieces of water. Right now, the style of fishing we're doing is a European style of tight lining, and I just wanted to demonstrate a little bit how you're going to slowly start working your way across a riffle. Now, obviously this is a good piece of water, but we don't want to jump right into it right away. We want to kind of slowly work our way across. Now, if you can imagine, instead of looking at one big river, you want to break it into a bunch of different lanes and hit each one of those lanes individually. The setup I do have, I'm not going very heavy with it because I do know how shallow this is. You can kind of notice I'm leading it a little more aggressively so I can kind of help those flies up and over the top of those rocks. Now, the flies I've chosen are mostly tied on jighead style hooks, which you can purchase at Taos Fly Shop or the real life. But just take a look and see how I'm slowly just easing my way across this run. Now, the best part of the run is the far side that I'm looking at right now. So I'm going to slowly just kind of chip across at it instead of possibly stepping over and spooking some fish. So you can kind of see I'm fishing at a pretty slow pace. I'm not over anxious to get to that other side because I could catch a couple other fish out of this run. A lot of people ask when we're out doing check nymphing or tight lining, whatever you want to call it, what that actual strike will feel like. And you know, when you're first starting off, you want to over exaggerate your weight. You want to go heavier so you can feel contact and find your flies right away. And a lot of times those strikes, they're going to feel like it would just be ticking a rock or ticking bottom. And so you want to set everything. Now, when it is a solid strike and you have good contact, you're going to feel almost a little shock down the whole rod. You're going to feel that strike. So one thing I'm starting to do here, before we had that nice easygoing riffle and it was consistent current speed all the way across the river where we started fishing, well, now it's become a little more complex than that. And so you can kind of see there's a bunch of little pockets in here and a lot of fast water in certain spots. Now with that check nymphing setup, you can really use the weight of those flies to really cut the current and get them underneath the water column there. Whereas with the dry dropper setup, you're not really getting the same presentation of these fish in this kind of water. Now, the juicy spot to me is out a little farther across the river here, where there's a little bit more of a break. And I'm going to kind of scooch out a little bit to get closer to it rather than making a longer cast. And I'm landing it in now. It's kind of hard to see it. But there is a little pocket right in here, and let's see if I can get those flies down. I'm trying to let those flies catch up to my fly rod a little bit, and then once I have that vertical sight material there, I can just kind of slowly lead it through and see what happens. Now the strike in that kind of water is going to be a little more obvious because it is a little bit faster current. Now let's try a few more times and see if we can get a fish out of it. And make little changes to your drifts. Sometimes it's just a couple inches and it makes a big difference.